So Survivor Episode 3, I'm making this just before Episode 4, that's going to be on TV in like half an hour. I mean, they're cranking out these episodes so fast, it's really hard to keep up with like an in-depth analysis of each episode, but let's jump in anyway. So this episode started with the Sam and Mark power couple revelation. And we all know the history of power couples in Survivor. It's the kiss of death. One of these two is gonna go home at some point, mark my words. And based off how the odds are stacking up against Sam, she's got way too many enemies. Take a look at this alliance chart that they've made available for the show. It is totally fractured. Sam thinks that she has this alliance of 6, but we can see that within the alliance of 6 there's Henry and Jackie. We've got Sarah and Odette sort of on the edge, and we've got the orange alliance of Luke and Jericho and Michelle there. And Ben is just kind of Ben. But when you look at this, and you consider that Henry and Jackie are going to be completely on board with taking out one of either Sam or Mark, probably Sam, because she seems to be more of the brains. Luke and Jericho are totally on board with taking out Sam, and they have an alliance with Michelle, so that's 5 right there. And if Sarah and Odette on the edge jump ship as well, that's a majority of 7. I mean, if they want to, at the next tribal, they can split the vote 4 versus 3, and there's absolutely nothing Sam or Mark can do about it because there's no immunity idol. Like, Henry's got the immunity idol, so they can't even rely on that to save them. So basically, I think next time Blue Tribe goes to tribal, Sam is toast. She's toast. There's nothing she can do. She's got so many enemies, so many people gunning for her. The numbers just aren't on her side. She cannot get an immunity idol. Next time they go to tribal, she is toast. I think the only reason she might get out of it is if they win enough immunity challenges to get her to a point where there's like a tribe split, you know, where sometimes they split the tribe into 3 rather than 2, or they sometimes do a tribe swap where they take some people from each tribe and swap them around. Like, that could reshuffle the deck, which could open up new options for her. And I honestly think that's the only thing that's going to save Sam at this point in the game. If there's not a tribe split or a tribe swap and she ends up going to tribal again, she's done. She's done. But because they won immunity this time, they didn't have to go to tribal. It instead was the pink tribe going to tribal again. Wow, these guys really aren't doing too well, are they? They just keep going back to tribal council over and over again. And we saw the beginnings of the Lockie versus True Blue feud. We started to see the cracks appearing at the challenge when Tarzan got blamed by Lockie for knocking Kate into the hole, even though when you watch it, it was actually Lockie who knocked her in. I mean, come on, he's behind her, he falls into her, and then he knocks her into the hole. And sure, you can say it's because Tarzan was pushing the ball too hard. It made Lockie lose his balance, but come on, Lockie, you were still the one who knocked her in. I mean, you got to take your responsibility for that as well. But, you know, these alpha male, like, leader types, they don't, like, take responsibility. They blame other people and stuff like that. But Tarzan did not like this. He did not like this, so it got a little bit testy between the two of them. And in response to this, AK says, oh, this is good. This is maybe an opening that I can exploit. Well, if you look at the alliance chart, you better bloody well hurry up if you want to exploit it, because the numbers are running out. It's 8 versus 3. I mean, even if AK joined them and then Jared, he was able to pull Jared across, it would be 5 versus 6. So I mean, it's just not going to happen. I mean, there was no way. It's like he's waited too long. Unless there's an idol in play, unless AK is able to tip them off about where the majority of the votes is going to go, and they could use an idol to flip it and then combine their votes to send it back in the direction of someone else in the majority alliance. That'd be the only way they could do it, but nobody has an idol. It's still in circulation after AK played it for Jared last time around. So really, looking at it from the perspective of Tess, the only thing she can really do to try to save herself, because her and Kate, they kind of know the votes are going to be split between them. Either it's going to be 4 and 4, or more likely it's going to be 5 and 3. So Tess, she should really just vote for Kate. And she should try to get Tarzan to vote for Kate as well. Because if they add their votes to the votes already going to Kate, it might outnumber the amount of votes she'd get, and then it would send Kate home in her place. It's not totally foolproof. It depends on how they split the votes. It might end up in a draw, and then on a revote, they would just probably all throw all their votes on Tessa or all their votes on Kate. But it would at least give her a shot. That's pretty much the only option she has if she doesn't have an idol. And of course, she didn't have an idol, but she didn't do that. She didn't vote for Kate. She didn't want to throw her friend under the bus, although she should have. That was the only way she could have saved herself. But Tarzan did. He voted for Kate. Now, whether he was doing that for the same reasons that I just mentioned, and that he was trying to help Tessa, because he did form a bit of a bond with Tessa earlier in the episode, that she asked for help, that maybe you could go out and look for an idol for her, and he did. So whether he was throwing the vote towards Kate to help her out in that way, of like piling up the votes on Kate so Tessa doesn't get the majority of votes, or whether he was just trying to go along with the majority alliance in the hope that he'd be spared next round, we don't know. We don't know. It's hard to tell what goes on inside that head of Tarzan. I mean, honestly, I don't understand why just Kate, Tarzan, and Tessa, like all three of them, weren't just looking across the entire jungle, searching the whole place around. I mean, what do you got to lose? You're completely outnumbered. You have to have an idol if you want to flip the votes in any direction. I mean, maybe they probably were doing that, but they just got edited out. Often that does happen. But yeah, Kate drew the short straw this time around, and if they end up going to tribal again in the episode that's about to come on, they're gonna have to get an idol and try to maybe bring AK on board to try to swing it the other way. That's the only option they have, because they don't even have the numbers on their side now to throw one of their own under the bus in order to save, like for Tessa to save herself. She's not going to do that to Tarzan, I presume. So I mean, they have to get an idol, or hopefully a tribe split or swap will happen. But let me know what you guys thought of the episode. And do you agree with me that Sam will be toast if they go to another tribal? I'm going to be very interested to see what happens. I just don't see much of a way out for her. So let me know what you thought of the episode in the comments section below. Until next time, I will see you guys in the comments.